Alright guys, we are back for more of my 2026 Easter special. We just played some Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Nintendo Wii, and that was a whole lot of fun. So, for our next segment, we are going to be playing...
Mario Kart Wii!
That's right! Mario Kart Wii for the Nintendo Wii. Let's see how well this game turns out. Alright, let's choose my final course, and let's go right into single player. We're gonna do versus. We'll do a solo race as usual. Of course, play as Mario.
Mario time!
And I'm gonna use the sprinter like I usually do.
Here we go!
Alright, anyways, for our first race, we're gonna start things off at Moo Moo Meadows. Alright, let's do it. Oh, got mushroom already to start off. Alright, now we get a fake on box. Oh, another fake on box. Alright, let's go to lap 2. Once again, another fake item box. Can't see with the ink on my screen. Alright, now this time we get a banana. Alright, we did avoid the power block just fine. Alright, on to the final lap. Alright, there's another banana. Alright, another banana once again. Alright, there's a fake on box. And we start off with a win in first place! How about that? So we do get ourselves 15 points right there. Alright, now it is time to move on to the second race. Alright, anyways, next up, let's head to DK Summit. Alright, here we go. Oh, there's 3 bananas right here to stop this race. I'll take them. And by the way, I'd like to make a special announcement right here that this past weekend, as the time that I'm recording this, we actually recently had a new NASCAR Cup Series winner, and that was Ty Gibbs. That's right. Ty Gibbs just recently managed to get his first career NASCAR NASCAR Cup Series victory from last weekend's race at Bristol Motor Speedway. So I'm definitely very happy for him right there for that recent accomplishment. And it took all the way to his fourth season to get his first career Cup Series victory, and I think it was his 134th star for how long it took him to get that first career Cup Series victory. But either way, though, I'm still very much happy that he was finally able to do it. And in case if you guys don't already know Ty Gibbs, basically in relation to his name, he does race for Joe Gibbs Racing, which is very, very fitting right here. And he drives the number 54 car for that team. And he's been in the NASCAR Cup Series since 2023, from what I do know. And I actually do know as well right here that back when Ty Gibbs was first in the O'Reilly Series in 2021, that was actually when he managed to win his first ever race in that series, which was very impressive. And then the next year in 2022, he would actually win a championship in his first full-time season in that series, which was very impressive. And actually, before Ty Gibbs went to Cup in 2023, he had a few starts before that in 2022, in which he actually filled in for Kurt Busch, all because for what happened back then. Kurt Busch was injured in a qualifying crash in Pocono, and that caused Kurt Busch to be out of the race car for the remainder of that season. Not only that, the moment when the qualifying crash did happen for Kurt Busch, that was basically the end of his Cup career, unfortunately. It basically was over right here a little earlier than expected right here. But anyways, we'll talk more about that in a moment, but it's time to go ahead and get into the next race. So this time we're going to head off to Cooper Cape. Alright, anyways, getting back to what I was saying right here, like I was mentioning, Kurt Busch unfortunately ended his Cup career a little bit earlier than expected after that qualifying crash happened in Pocono in 2022. And but basically after that happened, he needed a replacement after that first happened, and basically Ty Gibbs has stepped in to fill in for the remainder of the 2022 season. I do say Ty Gibbs did a pretty good job back then filling in for Kurt Busch, and afterwards he would go full-time Cup racing in 2023 with Joe Gibbs. So that's definitely very sweet right there of how Ty Gibbs is at that kind of level right here. So yeah, I'm certainly very proud of Ty Gibbs, like I said, who recently got his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory this past weekend at Bristol Motor Speedway, and I really have been wanting him to get that first career win for a long time, considering that I do think he has very good talent at a pretty young age. Basically ever since when I first heard about him in the lower series back in the day when he first competed. But now that he has a NASCAR Cup Series victory for himself, I'm certainly very happy about that for sure. It didn't let me do that trick right there for some reason, but it's alright. By the way, since I was actually talking about Kurt Busch, I do happen to know that he is a new member of the NASCAR Hall of Fame this year for the class of 2026. So that's certainly very exciting for sure. Alright, now on to the final lap. I did avoid that power block right there. Oh boy, there goes the blue shell. That hurts. I do get a green shell. And that's another win in first place! Alright, our 15 points are coming my way. Alright, we're on to the final race now in the segment. And we're going to go finish it off at Coconut Mall. Alright, let's go. Get out of my way, punks. I've got a green shell. Good thing I was holding that out right there so I could block that red shell. Ah, dang it. Of course that blue shell just haven't hit me. Ah, dang it, we just ran right into that car. That hurts. Alright, let's go to lap 2. Oh, there are blue shells coming by, but thankfully I'm not in first place right now, so we're safe. Get out of here, Bowser! Ah, dang it! That time I couldn't avoid the power block. Yeah, have a good day, Bowser. Alright, there's 3 green shells. Oh god! I can't believe I actually barely avoided that power block there. I thought for a second I was going to be a little bit too late, but good thing I timed this right. And I did not mean to go right into that banana. But it is what it is. Alright, let's see what happens on the final lap, shall we? Okay, fake on box. First place is ours. That's how you do it. Alright, that's another 15 points once again. And that will make me the big winner with a perfect 60 points. That is very impressive. Alright, so there's our wonderful golden trophy. But yeah, I definitely do say things went very, very well in this segment, just like what I was expecting. So, I had a lot of fun out there. But anyways, that is going to do it for Mario Kart Wii as part of my 2026 Easter special. But we still have some more games to play, and I will see you off in the next segment right after this. So stay tuned.